Welcome back on the AM show. We're going to be talking now about the National Intermines First Aid and Safety Competition 2022, put together by the Ghana Chamber of Mines. What's that all about? We'll be engaging our guests on that shortly. We have Nana Ando, who is an environmental consultant with the Ghana Chamber of Mines. We also have Philip Thompson, who is a health, safety, environment, and well-being manager at the Bogoso Prestea Mine. Nana, Philip, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining the conversation. I'll start with you, Philip, especially because of the role you play. What is it to do with this National Intermines First Aid and Safety Competition? How long have you done this anyway? How long has this been running?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for hosting us. This competition has been in existence for about 43 years now.
43 years?
Yes. We started 1979. And it's a yearly affair. Every year
It's been held every year?
Every year. Every year. Last year we're here. We're here last year. We went to sister companies, and all the members went to different stations to also educate the citizenry on the program that we undertake every year. Yes.
And I know there are zonal aspects to the competition, and all of that. Can you throw some more light on that,
Yes.
Nana?
We have about 15 mining companies. Last year, we're talking about not Galamsey, talking about...
it's good you mentioned.
Yes, last year mining companies that we're dealing about. They are members of the Ghana Chamber of Mines.
Right.
And we've zoned them. There are 3 zones.
Okay.
So we carry out the competition among the zones. Then the zonal, those who win the zonal competitions are then together with another company which is going to organize.
Okay.
We'll have 4 of them coming for the national finals. We've gone through the zonals now. Now this week, by Sunday, we're having the national finals between 4 of our companies. Yes.
So we are looking at November 3rd to the 11th, but we'll be getting into that. Yeah. So I know that when we have these sessions, definitely we also want to educate even those in the mining community. Yeah. And today we're going to be focusing on integrating health and safety practices into our everyday lives. That is the theme for today. Yeah. Why this though? Just give us a bit of a brief into this.
Health and safety is part of our life. And if you want to live and enjoy your fruit of your labor, you have to always make sure that you are living safely. And as a mining company, in the ancient days, those days, no one wanted to work in the mine. So when the chamber came to being and started gathering the sister companies together, and then with also the help of Minerals Commission, with the laws that are governing the industry, we've been able to integrate and improve on our health and safety. So safety is part of us. In the sector or the chamber, if your health and safety systems are not strong, you can't be in there, because health and safety is part of our everyday life. And production, before you get your production, your safety has to be good, because every job has to be risk assessed and put in mitigation measures to ensure that every employee who is going to work there works safely and having a very safe environment to work.
For you, Nana, why are health and safety so important when it comes to the mining industry, the legitimate mining industry?
Yeah, it's very important because, we know very well that sound mines always operate in sound bodies. You need a sound body, and the sound body will depend on how healthy the person is. And just as my colleague stated, earlier on, so many years ago, some 40, 45 years ago, when I really joined the mining fraternity, people were not interested in working in the mine because the fatalities, the number of accidents were so much that people were not interested. So then it means that the mining companies have to really put all efforts to make sure that safety records are improved. And that's exactly what it is. So when we come to the competition, that's where we showcase for the whole world to know that at least the mining companies are very committed to these safety and health issues.
Speaking about commitment to health and safety issues, of course, we're talking about the mining industry now, but there's a lot that we can inculcate into our own lives, both at home and at work.
Yes.
Here at work, not just in the mine,
Yes.
and at home as well. Tell us about some of them. What should be the outlook in that regard?
Okay, so the outlook should be, it should be a culture. Health and safety should be a culture. It should be part of your life. So when you are leaving home, you should have to put it in mind that whatever I'm going to do, I will do it safely. And then what is around you, what are the hazards and the risks associated with the job you are going to undertake. So as a parent or a father, if you are leaving home, you know you have to go and come back home safely. So everything that you do have to be risk assessed, and then you put in mitigation measures to ensure that you work safely. So safety should be a culture thing, or it's a culture thing. You can't.
Unfortunately, it's not part of our culture. Usually we talk about how
Yes.
poor maintenance is.
Yes.
You know, you go by certain parts of the country and you
Yeah.
see our infrastructure and how they've been, you know, it has been poorly maintained and all of that. And even things belonging to private enterprise.
Yes.
So you ask yourself, where does that culture lie? Do we actually have that culture?
Oh yeah, we improving. When you come to the mining sector, yes, we have really improved. I don't know, whoever has visited any mine in Ghana, you know, you will see, as soon as you get to site, you see that, yes, there is a culture here. Because there are certain things you will be doing out there that you cannot do there. Because of the culture that we have inculcated into our employees. So it is part of us, and you cannot do without that. So I always give an example as a parent. That you have a car, you are driving your kids to school. If you don't put on your seatbelt, your child will not learn how to even put the seatbelt on. So if you start from there, right from there, as soon as they sit in the car, they all buckle up. You are teaching them a culture.
It's example you're
It's
setting.
an example that you are setting. So as a parent, you start from home. And everything that you do, you make sure that it is safely assessed and making sure that your kids are safe. The food they eat, how they play at home, how are things being put in place and all that. So it's something that we can do. And when we can learn from the mining companies, I think if we do that, we'll be able to improve in this country.
And Nana,
Safety is very important.
that is part of why we're having this conversation. Best practices from the mining industry. I mean, even as you have these zonal competitions and national competitions, that we can also imbibe. Because truly, when you go to the mining companies, because of the high level of risk
Yes.
in the work that is done, there's a lot of health and safety. There are a lot of them
Yes.
that come to bear, mechanisms.
Yes.
But it appears at home. I mean, you would often hear of tragic cases of gas explosions at home. We use all of these. They're dangerous, but sometimes we don't even adhere to certain simple safety practices. So I guess that's a crucial area we ought to be looking at.
And again, my colleague just stated about what we do on the mine, but we extend that even into the communities that we stay in. You know, every mine is operating in a community. And so these safety measures are all extended. And in fact, we have even safety brigades, you know, bringing the community, forming some sort of safety brigades so that at least if something is happening, they will be able to you know, make a first attempt, you know, first aid or whatever it is. This is what the mine is doing. So we're not only concentrating in the mine, we're also extending to the communities. And by the competition, we want the whole country also to be aware that this is what is going on.
And I like how you've brought in the conversation because it brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
Extending this on a national level, but maybe with a focus on young people, because guess what? The future belongs to the young ones.
Yes.
How do we do this? What can we do to ensure that younger people feed on these best practices when it comes to health and safety so that we can have that culture that you speak of, which I honestly think is not exactly as widespread as we would want it to be?
Yeah, so as an industry, what we do is that we have brigades, as Nanando has said. So every company has clubs.
Okay.
Clubs, member clubs in the schools, in basic schools and then SHS. So we go there to teach them basic first aid and safety practices. So as part of the competition, we also have the community aspect. So every company trained community members to represent them at the competition level, at the zonal and the national level. So in the past, some of the companies have used junior high school students. They train them and then they come to compete with the other sister mining companies. Aside that, we also organize essay competition for all the schools within our catchment communities. And then when they compete, we select 2 to represent the mine in that catchment community. And then we go to the zonal level, we write the essay competitions, and it's all about safety. So the pupils research into safety. They are trained on how to practice safety, and then they come to write the competition. We finished with the zonal, as we said. So come Sunday, those who qualified for the nationals will be coming to also take the essay competition. Last year, we at the Ghana Mining Industry Award, we awarded the one who was first in that competition, first and second, and it was marvelous. Having that platform alone gives these kids that confidence in going into future positions. Yeah.
If I just add a little bit, we really interested in catching them young.
Right.
Yes,
that's the best way, isn't it?
Yes, that's why we've extended this thing to cover even writing essays and about topics, very topical topics about so that at least they get to know right from the beginning that there's a culture they also have to live up to. So we are very interested in that one.
Fabulous. To wrap the conversation, the National Safety Week is between the 3rd and the 11th, which is from tomorrow to the 11th. Tell us a bit about that as we wrap the conversation. I'll start with you, Philip.
Okay, so come Sunday on GTV, What Do You Do at 11:30.
Okay.
We are entreating the general public to tune on to GTV to watch us, just like the Science and Maths quiz that is organized on Joy News here. Just tune in and see how the mining companies also answer questions and also do practical scenarios on first aid. So it's about educating the citizenry about health, safety, and then also first aid practices. So we want everybody to tune in there and see what the mining companies are doing, so that the perception that we are destroying the environment, we are killing people because our processes and our practices are not safe, is not so. So we entreat everybody to tune into GTV.
All right, we'll be coming on board. Nana, your final words.
When they come on board, you see scenarios which are, which are performed on the TV, for certain cases, somebody gets involved in some accident or some incident or something. And then the demonstration is done to show exactly what happens, if a case should occur like that. So it's a very educative system we want people to see on Sunday. Just tune up and see how these scenarios are performed and competed for among the 4 companies. Thank you.
You've piqued my interest already. All of us ought to be coming on board.
Yeah.
We had in the studio Nanando, an environmental consultant with the Ghana Chamber of Mines. We also had joining the conversation Mr. Philip Thompson, Health, Safety, Environment and Wellbeing Manager, Bogoso Prestea Mine. Well, right after this, it's time for you to get interactive with us. We'll take a little break where we return the numbers to call 0302 211 691 extension 2. So 0302 211 691 extension 2. Get in touch with us right after the break and let us know what you think about the matters we've been discussing this morning. We'll be right back.